there's dirt on my hands.
Hello YouTube, Boss Rino. Welcome to my channels. Ina-arresto daw yung mga scientists. Meron ako narinig dito, dumaan, nagchichismisan. Ewan ko ba't inaano nila yung scientists. Ina-arresto nila. Marites din ako narinig ko dumaan dito nagchichismisan sa kalsada pa, buisit. Yun, try natin ito. The most scariest thing that have happened during funerals. Ay, funerals na lang, nakakatakot pa. Yung pang may mga scariest things na nangyari pa, di ba? Ito, the darkest secret. Paborito ko to. Alulupit ito Para kang nanonood ng history. Parang totoo siya, di ba? Well, totoo naman talaga. Pero parang sobrang luma na ngayon ko lang nalalaman, di ba? Astig, di ba? So ito, tirahin natin ito bago pa tirahin ng iba.
The following clip was recorded after a funeral. Ara is the name of the woman who gathered up the courage to send me this clip, stating that she fervently believes that it is the spirit of her late son.
Oh, shit.
That it
Yan ang mga yung mga namatay tapos paparamdam pa.
It is the spirit of her late son. You see, the day before this footage, along with relatives and acquaintances, Ara buried her son, who died due to a devastating illness. The place was flooded with sadness. Her son was gone forever. After this moment, she would only get to visit him at his grave. And it was due to that grief that she took one of the white balloons that adorned his funeral as a souvenir. She knew how much her son liked balloons. He always brought one back from birthday parties. To honor that gesture, she brought back one of the helium balloons from the ceremony. The next morning, the balloon began to move towards the parents for no apparent reason. They thought it was the wind, so they closed the windows, left the balloon on the second floor, and went downstairs.
Whoa!
But the balloon still followed them. It followed them everywhere. Being surprised at that moment, they began to record.
Ahí viene, ¿no?
Bakit nandiyan yung balloon, no? Nasa gitna lang. Nakatali ba yan?
Como que te vas para allá, ¿no? Viene para acá, doña.
Lo tenía ahí para que no se le moviera ahí entre el trofeo.
Tinali nila.
Porque todo modo, o sea, ponle, se hubiera bajado, pero que vino a hacer hasta acá y luego se regresa. Sí. Deja de eso, ahorita que se regresó, bajó y subió.
Ano yan, lumalapit? Tang ina naman, Wala, lumalapit nga sa kanila. Ano ba yan?
No?
Lumalapit nga sa kanila, gagi.
Bueno, parece viene contigo.
Oo nga, lumalapit nga sa kanila. Ow!
An intriguing video that, without knowing why, brought comfort to this woman.
Ala,
since she
to?
is convinced that the clip corresponds to the farewell of her son. A final manifestation of his presence in this material world. A way of saying that he was fine and at peace, that although he was not in this world, his existence continues. Without a doubt, a recording that leaves many things to think about. Number 3.
Magtataka ka, dapat diretso sa taas, di ba? Gago. Tapos ang tawag dito, ayoko na nung pag nakakita ako ng mga lobo, puputukin ko. Natakot na ako Lahat ng madadaanan ko, puputukin ko. Yun nga lang, magagalit sa akin may-ari. Pero okay lang, puputukin ko pa rin.
A clip that I will show you below arose from one of the most shocking cases that an entire country recently mourned. On February 17th of this year,
ayoko ng bata.
the disappearance of Thomas, a boy who lived in Libing, a town located in southern Chile, was reported. The intense search lasted for 9 days, in which the hope of finding him alive were the wishes of an entire population, who were following the details of the search with anticipation. Unfortunately, the outcome would be different. Thomas's lifeless body was found in a secluded place. The whole
Shit.
country followed his case. An entire country viewed his funeral on television. Despite the pandemic, the funeral was massive. Many left their homes to say their last goodbyes to the child. It was in this context that one of the television cameras that covered the route of the carriage captured this strange image.
Ito na, nakakatakot na to. Dami nagkipaglamay, no? Nakapaglibing. Ano yun. Puta, may nakasilip, hayop. Uy, kamukha niya.
Many assure that the image shows the face of a child who seems to be staring at the coffin. Some even say that the features have some
kinilibutan yung
similarities to the
ulo ko.
little boy's face. This video was made known by his relatives. Since it does not correspond to a reflection, there really is something inside the carriage. His relatives assure that apart from the coffin and a few crosses, there was nothing else inside. There was no reason for a face to be there. Could it be the spirit of the minor? Is that possible? Leave it in the comments.
Tangina, tumayo na naman yung buhok ko Visit eh.
Number 2.
Woo! Pag Darkest Secret, parang totoo talaga no? Oh, singer.
Selena was one of the most important artists in America in the mid-90s. The American of Mexican origin captivated millions of followers with her voice, transforming her at the time into a celebrity.
Wow.
However, the early success would fade, since in 1995 she was murdered at the hands of
tumanda na siya.
Sandy Rod, president of her fan club and manager of Selena's clothing stores. A tragedy that not only her family would mourn, but also
Ganda niya
her
nung bata,
friends and millions of fans. Cameras from around the world covered her funeral, a moment of great sadness that inadvertently recorded a paranormal phenomena that apparently may be real. As you can see at that time, the camera is focusing on her husband when it captures this. Pay attention.
Uy, may kumulbit. Yun, oh. Oh. Yee! May kilabutan ako, tanga.
Do you notice that strange pixel movement on his shoulder? The first impression is that it could be a minor detail, an unimportant subtlety, or it could be the brightness of the sun, the shadow of an assistant, or simply an error in the image that could manifest that movement on his shoulder. However, and beyond the
Gumalaw
possible
talaga no?
explanations, the young man seems to have felt that something touched him. In fact, he immediately turns his gaze to see who it was. For many, it was the spirit of the artist that was present. Do you think that's what happened? Leave it in the comments. Number 1.
Number 1 na. Kilabutan na ako eh.
We conclude this video with 2 clips that unfortunately I cannot show them as such, but I can show them to you as images. The first was taken from the funeral of Jasmina Dominique, a Croatian girl who disappeared 19 years ago. Images that caught the attention of many because of a particular photograph that was taken by a reporter.
Oh, shit.
In the image, you can see how a strange figure appears from behind the attendees. A transparent figure that some suggest and assume that it could be the spirit of the young woman attending her own funeral.
Daming ganyan. Alam niyo yung yung video namin ni Bal na nag-ghost tub kami. Ghost hub. Oh, basta yun. Ghost Tube. Ang dami nagsend sa akin ng screenshot na may nabuong something. Oh, ang gagaling nyo no? Nananakot pa kay lalo no?
An image that was widely disseminated at the time, like the one you will see below. We have always said that almost everything paranormal can be edited, except for those images in which animals are involved, especially if they are wild birds. This set of images shows the moment when a bird perches right on the tombstone of a child while his mother was visiting him for his anniversary. That wouldn't be strange at all if it weren't for the bird flying off to then land on the saddened mother's hands.
Oo, ano?
So how many times have you stretched out a finger and had a bird land on it?
Ang cute ng bird.
Birds are one of the most skittish creatures on the planet. That is why the original video of these photographs impressed so many. That day, the woman had prayed for a sign that would
Uy,
indicate
ang
her
bait,
son
oh.
was okay. According to the woman, the answer was found on her son's tombstone. It is surprising to see how this bird did not hesitate to rest on her finger and stay close to her for a few minutes. Perhaps it is a coincidence. A coincidence so strange that for me, it is much more reasonable and easier to think that the boy's soul has something to do with this. An image that many have categorized as a miracle. What about you? Do you agree?
Bihira yan, yung lalapit sa'yo yung ano, hindi mo naman pinaamo, hindi mo inalagaan ng bata, di ba?
Leave me your opinions in the comment box, because this video has come to an end. My name is Leonor Clay, and this was The Darkest.
Napakasimple ng video niya, pero nakakilabot kasi ang gaganda ng kwento, no? Kaya nag-enjoy ako sa video nito ni Darkest Secret eh. Paborito ko din to, tsaka yung True Horror Stories. Kinalabutan ba yung mga book niya? Ito may buko eh. So yun, maraming salamat sa panonood at hanggang sa muli.
I came from the mud. There's